Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Bennett. This is my YouTube channel where I upload content that interests me, ranging from pop culture, film, TV show, reviews, literally anything I want to talk about, I'm gonna put it out here. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get right into this video. Today's video is going to be about Ginny and Georgia, the Netflix series. I'm going to give you some of my unpopular thoughts, things I wish to be improved upon, a little bit of critique here and there. So that's it. I could say so much about this show, but I decided to just write it down here and limit myself to at least 10 things, at least. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to give you some of my honest thoughts, unpopular, unfiltered. Some of this might not be something you agree with, and that's perfectly fine. This is just a discussion between you and I, and if you have anything to say, comment down below, let me know if you agree or you disagree. In the words of Denzel Dion, I said what I said, I meant what I said. My introduction to the show was on Twitter when everybody was talking about the line in the 10th episode. And how did you guys watch that show so quickly? Because I found it so hard to sit through almost an hour of the show. It was torture and it took me months to do this. So this is why this video is coming out late, is because of that. And I'll get to that point in a bit, but yeah, I was introduced to the show when everybody was talking about the Taylor Swift little dig in the show, and I was like, okay, whatever, and I didn't really pay attention to it. And then I saw Alex Myers, I think that's how you say his name. He's a YouTuber, and I watched his video about the first episode, and I was like, you know, why not? Let's see what this is about, and why not waste more time, because I have nothing better to do than watch shows now. So I decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. And then after I watched the first episode, I was FaceTiming with my friend, and I just had a very interesting reaction. I did not know how to process it. So she was like, you know, why not? Why don't you just film a video of you reacting to it? So if I'm tech savvy enough, I'll link the video right here to me reacting to the second episode. Yeah, it was a lot. My first critique is, please stop with these musical takes. Like, nobody asked for them. They're not that fascinating. They're not that interesting. It just comes off as cringy. You're trying so hard to be relevant. From Britney Spears, by the way, free Britney Spears, to Lana Del Rey, to Taylor Swift, to Billie Eilish. Yeah, just stop. Because I understand, like, you're trying to be like trendy, you know, topical, be in the current environment, but it just comes off cringy, as if like these 40-plus-year-old writers are in a room and just like, how do these teenagers talk about these musicians? Like, you guys, we can tell you don't know how to say it. Or is it the acting? It's just, you can tell that they're trying to do something and they just didn't have the right execution. They didn't know how to write it. They didn't know what the take was. Because if you know Britney Spears, if you know Lana Del Rey, like, can we take a moment and understand, like, that? I was like, how could you say that about Lana Del Rey? Lana Del Rey has done nothing that says she wants to be accepted by society. Like, from her SNL performance, I could go down this rabbit hole, because like, how stupid are you to think that this wasn't a realistic take? Because it's not. And I know I shouldn't have this like passionate take on their take on Lana Del Rey, but it was so not true, and it was not real. And you could tell, like, they were trying to make a point about Lana, and they were trying to make a point about Taylor Swift and Britney Spears and Billie Eilish, like all of these artists, but not have any like musical background understanding of each artist and like what they stand for and their background in music and how like mainstream media has portrayed them. That was my issue, because like, you're trying to make a point, you might as well like research and understand what she's gone through and how she's been dragged through the mud and how she doesn't care to change. You're just trying to make a point and the point is not there. It's like, you know when Demi Lovato tried to make a point about that bakery shop? I found their musical takes to be something like that. Like Demi tried to do something, make a movement, yeah. And the writers tried to do that, it did not work. It did not work. My next point is language. For 15/16-year-olds, which I found that to be mind-boggling for the show to be centered around such a young age and have like the language they speak. I mean, it's not uncommon for teenagers to cuss, but it comes off as literally this whole entire show is like trying to be something. It comes off trying to do something and trying to portray realism, trying to do like realism, and that is like a whole take on real life high schoolers, but it really isn't, because I haven't met any 15-16-year-olds when I was one even that cussed this much, and it's not as if like the language was needed that much. It was just cringy. It was cringy. My third point is not everybody wants to fit in. I'm so sick and tired of this old cliche that every high school kid wants to fit in. Like, I get it. There are people who do go through life changing themselves to fit in to their environment, but not everything is about fitting in, because when you constantly pump out this message and you're like, hey kids, this is perfectly fine, you know, change yourself, make other people fall in love with you, like, it's wrong. Can we agree that's wrong? Like, let's do better. Let's have like an honest conversation how this is truly impacting the kids' mental health. There is a demographic of teenagers who, yes, do similar things that Ginny does throughout the show, where she changes and experiments with things to try to fit in with a group of people, but you can tell like that she's not doing well, but the show doesn't address that, and that's my issue with the whole thing. Is not only the messaging of, oh, it's perfectly fine for you to change to please other people, but they don't talk about how that is truly impacting the characters in the show and their mental health, you know, their well-being at the end of the day. Number 4. This show just has terrible timing. They don't know how to properly like transition into conversation, transition to plot points, topics. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to transition in any way. And I'm just like, what is happening? And this is something I really want them to work on, because sometimes I'm just like, what was that? Like dead silence for 4 to 5 seconds, then all of a sudden something big happens, and then boring, and then something big. Like it was just everywhere, and they need to find ways to properly transition into plot points, ideas, conversation. Yeah. 5. Have a better foundation. By foundation, I mean not makeup. What I mean by having a better foundation is I just feel like they don't know how to properly write these characters like at their true core. Not just the main characters, but also like the side characters, develop them out better than just having them talk about surface level conversation, because we get hints here and there and we get like big topics being sprinkled throughout the show, but to have like 10 episodes and then be like an hour long and not truly understand some of these characters is a little odd, because for you to like characters you have to get to know them, and I feel like they didn't do a great job at that. So I hope that next season they truly figure out and like map out how these characters and who these characters are and why they do what they do, because sometimes I'm just like, what is happening? Honestly, the description for the show is what is happening. That is one thing I've said throughout the show consistently is like, what's happening? It's so, what? It's all odd. 6, identity politics. Okay, this might get me in some hot water, so I'm gonna try my best to work this out the best I can. Did anybody else realize that the writers only used their struggles within like sexual identity and racial identity as just a way to make you find a way for you to make them like the characters, because the core of it, they all suck. They all suck. They have no redeeming qualities. And when they're like, oh well, she has gone on a run of blah 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 blah, maybe let's go put her with the black kids. Oh, let's go talk about the fact that oh, she is a lesbian and that she's about to get her heart broken. Like, and I get they were trying to address real life issues and real life problems by talking about Max's sexual identity and Ginny's struggle with being biracial, but they didn't really handle it with care and understanding. They just like threw it there to be like, oh, look, checking this off, talking about racism. And number 6 kind of goes into number 7, and that I feel like they had just like a checklist of things they had to get out of the way, the checklist of social issues and social topics, current trends, and all of that. And it's just, you can tell like they didn't really think it through when talking about identity politics, when talking about music, when talking about movies. They just had a checklist to be right there and be like, okay, we talked about that, we talked about this, check, 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 check. It was juggling. When you're juggling too much, you're just not gonna do the best at it. Acting / writing. The accent is amazing. I know, I found out that she doesn't actually have a southern accent, but sometimes she could just be a little too much. So tone that down. But then on the other side, it's like, but that's the point of her character. It's just like she's a lot. So good job, I guess. I like this guy. The cringiness, cringe factor. This might come down to writing or their goal of making the show realistic, but at certain points you're like, okay, this is so cringy. Oh my goodness, like the tap dance, the good morning videos like from Snapchat, I was just like, stop. And what was his name? Hunter. Is that his name? Hunter. I feel like me searching it on my computer is just something that's going to happen. Every episode, every video that I do, I'm just gonna pull on my computer. Yes, Hunter. I did not like how he was written. I did not like how it was performed. No offense, I'm not an actor, but this is my opinion. Yeah, I just do not like how that character was done. I found his scenes unwatchable, unbearable. It was torture, truly was. If you don't believe me, go watch clips of this, because I wanted to just end it all. I was like, please stop. So next time, either get like an acting person or to help with the acting and portrayal, or get a better writer, because I can't tell if this is purposeful or it's just like bad acting. Oh, it made my skin crawl. Oh my gosh, it was, you guys, it was so bad. I can't. And another technical point, number whatever, is my computer broken, or did anybody else notice like the color grading was not the best? Like it would pop out, like it would be like this and then it would be like this. Maybe my computer's broken. I don't know if this is the 9th or 10th point, but can we get more Joe? Joe was honestly the best. He was the only character throughout the show that I was like so happy to see on my screen. And I never cringed. I was just like, Joe. We did it, Joe! We did it! You're gonna be the next president of the United States! Number 10, characters. I've kind of talked about this already, but I want these characters to be likable, interesting. Like, there's just so much going on. There's just so much going on in the story between each character. Like Abby, her parents are getting divorced. Austin, he has some kind of, imagine the story for Austin is gonna be like Riverdale's dad, where they have the serial killer gene and his is like something like that. The only people I like so far is Joe and Maxine's dad, but that's it. Nobody, I'm not rooting for anybody except for Joe, of course. So yeah, I would say just work on that. Like you've already established so much that hopefully we get to it next season. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. It means so much to me. It truly does. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions about the show. If you agree with my points or you disagree, let me know below. We can have a discussion about it. Make sure to hit that like button if you liked the video, and if you didn't, you can feel free to dislike, but it will make me sad. But you know, it's a free world. Do it. Have a great day wherever you are. Thank you. Okay, ciao.